Hi everyone. So it's me, Christina, and I figured I would do an intro video for you guys. I took y'all along with us today as we kind of interviewed a few perspective flips that we were interested in today, and I figured I would just sit down, take some time while I can, and do an intro video. So you'll probably hear my kids crying in the background because I hear my 1 year old right now. Like, I don't know what she just did, but she got in trouble for something. So I hear that she just got put on a timeout in her room. So if she ends up coming in here, just bear with me. I'll probably have to clip out and edit a few things. Um, and also, I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at this camera here or at myself in the screen, but just whatever. Ignore it, okay? All right, so my channel is Mama's Trying, and I decided on that name. My kids said that they liked it, and I decided on it because I just wanted to chronicle how I'm always trying something, whether it is to be a better mom and wife, or trying to create something new, like as far as health or hygiene. I'm really into. I love all things natural, and I love DIY things. So I'm always trying new recipes for deodorant or body butter or things like that. We have a few that I've pretty much mastered. Like with our toothpaste, I make that exclusively at home. Laundry detergent, we make exclusively at home. So things like that. I'm always trying something, but on top of that, I'm always looking for ways that I can improve myself and help to encourage others through my process as well. Life isn't easy, and I think that when we're transparent with each other, we can definitely encourage one another. Um, so that's basically what this is. That's the name. Mama's Trying. And my kids were like, at first I was like, I don't really know. But they're like, no, Mom, I like it because, you should be honest that you're always trying. No one's perfect. And that's what I tell them. My mom used to tell me nothing beats a failure but a try. And so that's true. As long as you're always trying, you can't fail. There is no failure when you're trying something. It's going to be a success whether you um, achieve what your goal is or not. You've learned something. So anytime you try something, you're learning, if nothing else. So that's the way that I like to look at it, and that's what I tell my kids a lot too. So let's see. What are some questions that we get asked? Okay, so my husband and I, we've been married for 11 years. We met in middle school, sixth grade. So I was 10 and he was 11. And so now we have officially known each other and been together longer than we haven't. So I'm 33. I just turned 33 a couple days ago. And so we've known each other for 23 years now. I'm sorry, 20, yeah, 23 years now. Um, so, and we've been together for 17 years. So it's really exciting. It's really fun. He's my best friend. We don't always get along. Best friends don't always get along, but I just love him. He's the yin to my yang, and we definitely we complete each other, but we're opposites. We're definitely opposites. So if he decides to be featured on any of these videos, you'll see we're good together, but sometimes we can really be on each other's nerves because I'm really sarcastic, he's sarcastic, and sometimes the sarcasm is just like, all right, who's gonna end it? So we'll see. All right, so our kids, we have 7 kids. We have 16-year-old twins, a 10-year-old. Oh, so they're girls, 16-year-old twin girls, and then we have a 10-year-old girl. We have a 5-year-old boy. We have another 3-year-old girl, a 1-year-old girl, and a 9-week-old boy. So we have 5 girls and 2 boys. And it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's really loud, and you would think like a person like me, I have like sensory overload issues or something like that. I do not like too much noise and sound and things going on. It like really overwhelms me sometimes, but you would think that a person like me shouldn't have 7 kids. But I love them, and I always wanted to have like 4 or 5 kids maybe, but when we had twins, it was like, okay, I'm done with this for now. And the location that we lived in was a very, very expensive place. We lived in the suburbs of Chicago, which is very expensive. So at that point, it was just like, I don't even know if we should have any more kids because they're not too expensive, but things can add up. Especially when you're buying everything new, which we don't do. So you'll see that in further videos. But my husband, he always said he wanted 6 kids, and I was like, okay, maybe we'll meet in the middle at 4. I wanted 2. We had twins out the gate. He said he wanted 6. I said let's settle at 4. So we ended up having 3 girls before we had our boy, which is our 4th. He's our 4th kid, our boy, our first boy. And our second boy is the baby that we just had a few weeks ago. So you will see meltdowns. You will hear a lot of crying sometimes. You'll hear arguing. You'll hear lots of laughter. You'll hear them getting to their little tussles back and forth. But the kids, they're best friends. And it's really a precious thing to watch day in and day out, how they love each other to death and fight just as hard. So you can, as you watch more, you'll get to see which ones are like the buddies and who's paired up with who and who are the best friends. And naturally, of course, the twins are very, very close to each other. So of course, there's that little crew there. And then we have a gap in between our twins and our third. She is 6 years younger than they are, and then she's 4 years older than our boy. So there's a couple little gaps there, but everything seems to be going smoothly for the most part. Parenthood is not easy at all, but I think we're handling it okay so far. The teen years are getting a little but and the toddlers, I call them our 3-pack, because we have a 5, 3, and a 1-year-old right now, and the 3-year-old is about to turn 4, and the 1-year-old is about to turn 2. So really it'll be 5, 4, and 2, and then we have the newborn. So it's getting a little dicey in here some days. It can be like, what am I doing? What's happening here? So you'll get to see some of that as well. But sorry, I hear some music. I was wondering if it was our kids or neighbors or what. So let's see. I had a list of questions that people often ask us. Okay, so the twins, they graduated our homeschool. So we homeschool our kids. They graduated our homeschool in June, a few months ago, and they are currently pursuing just liberal studies online. And their long-term goal is to get into real estate, whether it be investing or agency. So I know that they both said they want to be real estate agents or brokers, if you will. But we are in investing in real estate, and they want to do the same thing. So we always tell them and encourage them and everyone that we know to never put all your eggs in one basket. Have multiple baskets with eggs in them, and so that way you have multiple sources of income. So if one runs dry, you always have another or 2 or 3. So yeah, they're currently studying coding and health. One of our girls loves the challenge of coding. She's like, it makes my brain crazy sometimes, but she really loves the challenge. So we started in our homeschool a couple of just random classes. So sorry, my husband is sending me notifications on here, so it's distracting me. So yeah, one is doing coding, one is doing health. They're enjoying it so far. So that's just in the meanwhile until they can become agents. The state that we live in, Illinois, they cannot be brokers until the age of 21. So boo, Illinois. But so in the meanwhile, they're just freelance studying, and they're working with us in our investing business. And so the girls really have learned how to do a lot of things that even grown men can't do. They know how to lay tile, they know how to paint, they can do backsplash, they can use power tools and all kinds of stuff. So it's really cool. One of the things that we really wanted for our kids was to give them as many skills as possible, or offer them or teach them and just grow with them as many skills as possible, because that way you have many things that you can do. And it's important to have skills, because that way you can do things for yourself. Independence is good. And all of our kids say they want to be entrepreneurs. Well, our son says he wants to be a natural doctor, but I'm sure that he'll figure out some way to work entrepreneurship into that. So let's see. Okay, so how we got into investing in real estate. So my husband was a retail manager for 7, 8 years, and it was really taxing because he was gone a lot. He was gone like 60 hours a week, and that was really hard because once we had our son, we sat down and we talked about it, and we were like, what are the goals that we have for our family and the direction that we want to go in? And we had just had our first son, and I was like, you have a son after 11 years of girls, and what's going to happen here? And so we both knew that we wanted him to be able to spend a lot more time with our children in general, our family in general, but also his first son, his only son. And so retail managing was really trying for our family. And so I encouraged him. I said, you know what, let's just take a big, huge leap of faith. And I don't know exactly, I don't remember how I came across like appliance businesses where people were running them online, like buying appliances really cheap and refurbishing them, cleaning them up and selling them. And so I was like, babe, let's just try it. Let's try it. I was really nervous. He was nervous, but our son was 4 months old, and he left all the security of retail management behind, the benefits, everything. And it went amazingly well. We were very blessed by our creator in that endeavor because it was a very big, scary thing. And we took that leap of faith, and he blessed it immensely. I remember telling the girls, like, we were preparing to be really preparing to be poor. I was like, let's start buying up all of our necessities and things like that, because who knows if we'll have money. And but I should have had more trust and faith than I did. But it was really scary to have 4 kids and have your husband leave his job, and we had a mortgage and all that stuff. So but a little background, we were born and raised outside of Chicago. When we were 25, another leap of faith, huge one. We moved from Chicago and moved down to Georgia, outside of Atlanta, because we were looking for our first house, and there was like nothing we could afford here. Everything is just like astronomical in Chicago. So I was like, don't know how I thought it up, but I was like, let's go to Atlanta. It's cheap down there, right? So we did. We left everything behind. We didn't know anyone in Atlanta. Well, we knew one friend, but they were not close at all. Atlanta is a very sprawling area, lots of sprawl. So they were on like the southeastern end of Atlanta. We were northwest. So we were about an hour and a half apart. So we didn't see them really ever. So we had no friends, really, no family, no support system, nothing at all down there. And we just got up and left. A huge leap of faith. Again, it was one of the best things we could do, truly, because that was when we became more spiritual minded people. We got connected with our Savior there. And so that was a special thing. And we owe the glory all to him. And so, we are faith-based people. I won't talk much about that because, we don't all share the same faith, and that's okay. So that we ended up there. We were there for 8 years. We were out in the country our last 2 years. Absolutely loved it. I really missed the country. We had about 3.5 acres in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. A little town that no one would have ever really heard of. I loved it because our kids could just open our door and just walk freely, and I never worried about anything other than, wildlife sometimes. We had, a couple cougar sightings, bear, things like that, armadillos, tons of poisonous snakes. We had a snake in our house, things like that. But it was a really beautiful, peaceful, simple life. I really miss it. I'm contemplating how much longer we're going to stay here. We've been talking about whether we're going to stay for a little bit longer term, or if we're going to just make some money and head on out, or what we're going to do. But our kids, we're back pretty near our hometown, and our kids really miss it. They like being close to everything and being able to roam, as they call it, and explore. Tons of museums and just lots to do. But our little kids really miss the country, I guess, because that's home to them. They really miss that. And so we are torn right now. So we're not, the jury's still out on that one, whether we're going to stay or we're going to go. But right now, we are back in Chicago land area, and we are investing in real estate here. We saw an opportunity to make a decent amount of money in it, so, in a good living. It was like the next logical step from appliances. We were like, all right, we're buying appliances cheap, fixing them up, flipping those. What if we just moved into something bigger ticket? And so I just thought Chicago has a lot of distressed properties, and maybe we could go back home for a little bit and see what we can make of that. And so that's what we decided to do. We're here now. We've been here again for a year, and so we've gotten, when we first got here, it was a hard time finding a property. Like, investors are like sharks. They don't let you get any properties. So everyone that we looked for, it was like, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone. So it took us like 3 months. Yeah, 3 months to find our first property. And then it took 4 or 5 months to finish that up. So the story behind that is that my husband and I, we do everything ourselves. We don't hire a crew. He does everything himself. I'm just the decorator. So he does everything himself, poor guy. So it took him, 4 months to work on the first flip here. Our second one went really smoothly. That one he got finished in 6 weeks, and we sold it within like 20 days of listing. So we are now on the hunt for our third property, potentially fourth, maybe our third, fourth property. And so that's where we are right now. And I'm gonna probably take you guys along a little bit to see that end of it too, because I've had lots of questions from people who are like, we really want to get into investing, but we don't know how at all to do it. And so it was a little bit easier for us, because the story behind that is we bought our first home in Georgia, and it was at the lower end of the market, so it was a buyer's market. We got a great deal on it. We stayed there for about 3.5 years. And then we were really trying to get out of debt. We wanted to be debt free. We had a debt free mindset. And so we were like, all right, what if we sold this house, took the equity, and paid cash for our second home in the country? And so that's exactly what we did. We sold our baby. We left the suburbs. We went out into the country. We were able to pay cash for that home. It was trashed. We paid really a dirt cheap amount for that house. Vern, by the work and blessing of his own hands, fixed that house up, and we were able to, when we decided to move back to Chicago, flip that house as well. And so we got double, I think, what we paid for that house. And so that was great. And so that's how we ended up with the cash flow to start to even do this. So it's been really slow. We're buying very lower end properties, and making still double pretty much what we pay for them, because that's our marker. So that's the long story. I know I'm like talking your ear off. That's the long story of how all that came to be. But I get asked that question a lot about investing and what the deal is with that. Oh, another fun fact, not fun at all. We live in our flips. To make matters worse, we live in our flips. So we didn't have the capital to come back here and, remember, debt-free mindset. We didn't have the capital to come back here and purchase a home cash. The home that we would need, we're talking several $100,000s, okay? And we just didn't come back here with that. We're looking at close to $500,000 in this Chicago market for what our family would need. It's excessive. It's crazy stupid how, expensive these properties are. And on tiny little lots, we had 3.5 acres in Georgia, and we paid next to nothing for that property. So we're here now, and we are living in our flips because we do not want to pay rent. We don't want to pad someone else's pockets. Rent would be about $2,200 a month, maybe $2,500 a month for the property that we would need. That is ridiculous. We do not want it. We can't spend $30,000, including utilities and things like that. That's not our mindset to do that. We want to be investing in ourselves. And so to rent from someone, we see that as an investment into someone else and their family. So we are choosing to save that 25, 30, $35,000 and tough it out. It's very tough living in the flips. We're looking for our third one now. This will be the third flip that we will be living in. And hopefully we're thinking that we're going to live in a one of the flips that we can find really cheap and fix that up until we can get back closer to home where the properties are really sky high. And that's why I said I don't know if we're going to stay here or not. We'll see. That's a whole other story. But let's see what other questions I have. So yeah, we started with appliances. Now we're in real estate. And yeah, I just wanted to do this vlogging thing because I just thought it would be fun. I talk a lot. If you haven't already noticed, I'm already at 28 minutes or 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, so I am very talkative. Everyone asks me questions. I love answering them. I love talking about ways that we can build businesses and ways that we can improve ourselves and our families and our children, and ways that we can love our families more fiercely and protect them. And I'm all about nurturing our children and their minds and bodies and spirits. And I struggle myself with my own personal issues, but learning to love myself better as well. And that's something that I'll be transparent about in the future as well too, because we just had our baby. He's 9 weeks old, and so there are some postpartum baby blues going on over here right now, on and off. So I hope to share these things to be an encouragement, to let people know that there are ways. There's always a way. If you can think it and if you believe it, you can manifest it. I tell our children that: think, believe, manifest. So that's along the line of what our whole existence is right now. And so yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. Get on here and show some ways that I manage this large family. Hopefully manage it okay. Hopefully we're all alive. Let's just say that. Some days that's hard, keeping everybody alive. So yeah, so let's get back here together sometime, and I want to share some tips and tricks and things that hopefully will be beneficial, if they can be beneficial. Maybe if it's something you've never heard of or don't know how to do or something, you'll see me making things and things of that nature. So I hope you enjoy my channel, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one, guys.